Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Hello y'all. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me that thumbs up if you can hear me. If you can hear the 75% black sister that you listen to. Yes, I have to give my 25% credit to the white folks. Oh, in this case, it would be the white man. Because that, that's what had happened. The white man. The white man. Mm. Well, was good with y'all. Hey, Star. Hey, y'all. Let me let me do my chat call. And this is so. Some of this is so unfortunate, but you got to do what you got to do. But some of these people don't understand. What's good with it? What's good with it? Deboski Avatar, you was first. Deboski was first. Ooh, yay! Hey, Sonya Davis. Hey, Ruth Wilson. Hey, S Nice. Hey, Dynamite. The Puerto Rican Indian Queen. Yes, Miss Claudine. Yes. Hey, Star of Whispers in the building. Yes, 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 yes. Uh, 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 Let me see what we have on them likes. Come on, y'all. Like me up, like me up. Like yourself. Hit the like button if you like yourself. Hit the like button if you like kids. Hit the like button if you like money. Hit it. Hit it. It shows participation. Yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I hate to even go there. But sometimes some people do shit in which requires you to go there. And it's not gonna be real, it's not gonna be a hard situation or whatever. It's not gonna be me um spending a lot of time on bullshit like this because this is not what I want to do. As far as bullshit with people when I don't have nothing to do with it. And I'm simply coming to say I don't have nothing to do with it. But hold on. Um I got some real good clippings from the uh the 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 sentencing, right? Not what happened inside, of course, but the press conference. It's several different clippings and stuff, and I'm going to play them. So, but listen, before I get into all of that, and I'm not doing any subliminals on this. I'm being very direct. Because here's the thing, right? When you are talking about certain people, then you need to specify those certain people. If you're talking about a body of people, or if a circumstance arises, whatever, or you're talking to people where you make it kind of clear of the people that you're talking about, then hey, this is what you get. But I'm not going to do no subliminals or whatever because I'm going to address the person that addressed the situation that kind of left the door open, but was very specific in what they were saying. So specific enough, somebody told me about it, right? And I was, and I went and listened for myself. And it is not my desire to be on here with the back and forth, with the going, all of that type of shit. But anytime I perceive anything as a threat, a warning, a FYI, or whatever, I'm going to address it. And I'm going to address it like a real boss bitch would. Not a motherfucker that's playing games. And I don't give a fuck about going there. Because ain't a motherfucking threat. Nothing. I'm a motherfucker on this YouTube that I can't motherfucking match that energy and exceed it. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. I was listening to Dr. Rogers give her warning to Levi because whatever shit is going on. I didn't even know. You know what? I didn't even know really that Levi hadn't posted some shit on his community board. I really didn't till I heard her today, and I went and looked, and I was like, oh, okay, this. I said, what the fuck is going on with this? But to be fair and to be honest with yourself, Levi been talking about her and Block and all those people, whatever. I think since 2020. I know since 2020. I know since 2020. That's damn near 2 years. So it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. The only part now, and here's the thing, right? Let me go ahead and say this up front. If I'm excluded from one of the people that she's talking about, then hey, I won't apply it to me. But it was left out there as a general statement, but I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So apparently she has responded now, and she's called what Levi has said or whatever to her, whatever. She says she perceives them as threats. Okay. She also said that she was, I'm paraphrasing, he needs to stop saying what he's saying or whatever, and whose ever channel he goes on and say the stuff that she's going to put them in it, right? That's what she said. Now here's the thing. Your knowledge about the law is showing, okay? I submit that, well, I know that when you go down there and put any type of papers on it, whether it's civil or criminal, they want to know who did it, what was said, how's it impacting you, and all of that. When you go down there to them people, none of that has to do with me. My name won't be mentioned. It shouldn't be, because I don't have shit to do with it. Also, I don't tell you who can say whatever about me on your channel, whether it be wherever it be. Nor you gonna tell me. I respect them not using your government. But that's a courtesy. That's not even a law or a right you have. But that's a courtesy. Your paperwork will have that man's name on it. He could be outside Walmart saying the same thing. Are you going to put paperwork on Walmart? Are you going to drag them in it? So I perceive that as a threat. Okay? You could try and do whatever, because I already know how you get down. Remember? I already motherfucking know. So see, I would never be afraid or whatever of your doxing or your investigations, whatever. You just better be happy that, hope that it's a legal investigation. And I wouldn't give a fuck if you get the right information or the wrong information or the AKAs or the doing business as. I am that one. I can type up that paper real good and seal it myself. You don't have those motherfucking abilities. Let's be straight. Let's keep it 100. Why y'all out here capping? Are you serious? Everybody that work for the Department of Justice aren't law enforcement officers. Should I do that? Should I do that organizational chart? Huh? Don't put me in none of this shit. But if you do, you do so at your own motherfucking risk. I don't give a fuck. There ain't shit you can't do for no exposure, whatever, that I can't do and really get down to it. And there's not one law enforcement officer that has to call the cops or go to any police station to handle an off-duty matter. No. You want to tell the motherfucking truth. There ain't no correction officer at the BOP. Don't play any of those games with me. Ever. Just because you slick enough to try to do this shit behind the scene. And I'm going to tell you, when you pass people's shit out, all it's fingerprints. Footprints. Traces of however you move all around this motherfucker, who you connect with and all of that. That's a proper investigation. Don't play with me. Because you know I already got it. Sitting on it. I gives a fuck about that. Don't pull me in. Now, if you ain't talking about me, hey, just say that. I don't know who you talking about. But I know he be over here. I know he bees on Dana. I know it bees on Larry. It bees on Tears. That's between y'all two. This ain't nothing new. I mean, you selling all them wolf tickets, but you know that shit roll up to your motherfucking job, a job where requires your motherfucking judgment. You will be escorted out by a goddamn fucking law enforcement officer. However they pack you up now. I'm not the one. Play them games with somebody else. All that old dirty shit you done in behind the scenes, don't play. You know I got it. Do not play. Leave me the fuck alone. How am I exposing? Child. Don't play. Let me show you part of the manifest you around here spreading and shit. Let me show you this part of this manifest. Let me help you out right here. Let me help you out. I done peek, showed y'all peek at this before. Wait a minute. Let me start from the top. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me show you. Like, leave me out that motherfucking bullshit. I ain't had shit to do with this. Yeah, this is my handiwork. All of them. Every last one of them. All of it. That's my handiwork. Part of my manifest. Yeah, yeah, this right here. Yeah, I even got, wait a minute. Hold on. I know it's one should coming up. About 60 something of them. Yeah, I even got Jacksonville, Texas up here in this motherfucker. Yeah, me. It's my shit. All of me. Because I'm the author. All of them. But I will send your ass on down there, whether you got it right or wrong. I don't give a fuck. You're gonna put me in shit. Unless you gonna get with the motherfucking goddamn, reap the goddamn consequences. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, all of them. Every last bit of them. All of them. It's me. Now, you look for that person, are you? Or go along with what you have, or do you want this? Hold on. These people here, baby, with this motherfucker mediocre ass exposure game, doxing game, you got me fucked up. I don't know what you was talking about. Or is it that? Now, you figure it out. Get your doxing on. Get it on. Because I have no problem hooking you motherfuckers up. Get it on. Don't fucking play with me. You know how many motherfucking covers I done made for child. Anyway, leave me out your bullshit. The rules is over here set. Find somebody else to play with. Leave me out your bullshit. I don't hear nothing about it. That's between you and the motherfuckers that's talking about you, not me. It ain't like it's new. I don't even know what he talking about. So if we could play that paperwork game, not a problem. Are you serious? My last station I came out as a GS 15 was offered a SCS position. That's much higher than what? An 11. So you already know I know. Don't play with me. Don't you do not that bullshit. Or make your motherfucking subliminals and shit real clear and descriptive so we can know who the fuck it is you're talking about. I don't take kindly to motherfucking threats. I act upon them. And I know the motherfucking fucking protocol. I still got my clearance. I ain't gotta call the cops. I ain't gotta drive them to no po-po. Shit. Pull that shit up real. Child. Anyway. Oh, these people on YouTube. I cannot. I cannot. Just when you think, boy, you be like, anybody knows me. I don't fuck around with no threats, no warnings, no FYIs, no public service announcement. None of that. Fuck. You need to talk to that man. Especially don't nobody running around here with that they got the motherfuckers that them been all on the news and shit in their contacts. Are you serious? Ethics. These are facts. This is no slander. I ain't got Derrick Johnson in my motherfucking contacts. None of that. Don't play. Find somebody else to fuck with. Keep that shit with who you got it with. So y'all, let me go through. I found I want to play. When I heard this, I almost died. Now you know I'm gonna be petty because people ask for it. Well, that's what you're gonna get. Petty and shit. Hold on. Hold on. I want to play J-Bo. I want to play J-Bo. I want to play J-Bo's press conference. Listen to what she says, because she's going to talk about a burning situation. Well, not a burning situation, a burning question that has people wondering around here. And I want y'all to see if y'all can catch it. Because J-Bo is going to address it. When will they learn, honey? When? And like, you have somebody that sat up here and tried to fuck over another black man. Couple of them, I'm counting. With slick shit. Trying to get them in motherfucking jail. Tell them about that. Come out here with that modest stuff and hiding behind being a Christian. Leave me alone. Because I'll press play and I'll let you tell. Leave me alone. Because this is a police ass house. Keep telling y'all. Don't play with me. Slick ass shit. All right. So we're gonna listen to, let me go on mute. We're gonna listen to J-Bo, and I want you to hear what she says. And pay careful attention when it gets to the question about family.
Appeals. We've always believed in those arguments, and we believe that this enterprise was overcharged, and that the Second Circuit Court of Appeals will see it that way.
Can you share what he said to you after the sentence was read?
He was just asking for some clarifications about some of the terms that were read to him. As you all know, Mr. Kelly has some literacy issues, so it's really important there's a great deal of things that have to be explained in a little more slowly. So,
in terms of how do you feel about 30 years?
Well, I mean, obviously he's devastated. 30 years in prison is like a life sentence for him. But at the same time, we knew the government was asking for 25 years. We were prepared for what the judge might impose. So it didn't come as a great big surprise. We were prepared for it, and we are now prepared to fight this appeal. For us, it's just the beginning of the fight, frankly. So we were prepared going in for today, and he's doing okay with this fight.
He had a strong argument on the defense. Why did he not want to make
a statement in allocution? Well, that was on advice of counsel. That was on my advice.
Why?
Because he has pending cases. It's obvious. He's got pending cases, and he has a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and I advised him to invoke that Fifth Amendment right. I promise you, he does want to make a statement. He will make statements eventually, but on the advice of counsel, he remains silent today.
What can you say to try and convince the public that he is not guilty?
Okay, so the appeal will lay out that the enterprise that was charged as you will see if you've read my post-trial motions, which you probably have not, our position is this was not a RICO or racketeering act violation. These were isolated events that happened many years ago, and the government simply tried to plead around the statute of limitations to bring it in a RICO charge, which was inappropriate. So, I mean, all I can tell you is there was no enterprise. There was no enterprise. It was one man with allegations by a number of women, which doesn't make it an enterprise. And that is why he's not guilty of racketeering.
You said he was remorseful. What did you mean by that? You said he didn't have to confess, but that he was remorseful.
I said he has regrets and he is sad. Nobody wants to hear what he heard today. He's a human being. He feels when other people are feeling, but that doesn't mean that he can accept responsibility in the way that the government would like him to and the way other people would like him to, because he disagrees. He is not. He disagrees with the characterizations that have been made about him. But that doesn't mean he's not a human being and can't feel something when other people are in pain.
Is his abuser here today? You said that his sister abused him as he was a kid. He has 4 people here today.
Yes, he has a number of friends here today. No, his sister is not here today. He's been estranged from her for quite some time. He has 2 brothers who are fully in support of him, who were also victims of sexual abuse in his household. So they are here in spirit, although not here personally. So no.
You spoke about
when
his
you say that
fiancée,
people
Joy.
say he's a predator,
Have you had the opportunity to speak to Joyce?
Yes, I speak to Joy regularly, and Joy is just fine. She is sad, but she told him, and she sent me a text message telling him to pray and put it in God's hands. And she loves him, and they're going to get through this. That's what she had to say to him.
is he a predator?
No, he's not. No, he's not a predader.
You're saying this was an enterprise. You're saying that these
Where's the other members of the Jennifer Bonjean, Bonjean.
Are you saying that this sexual abuse didn't happen?
No, we just went over some of the terms that the judge was reading, and we were actually didn't have a lot of time. But he was prepared for it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. On behalf of our Kelly supporters, we do support you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Waiting on the appeal.
You heard there the attorney for the defendant, who just now knows that 30 years is what this sentence is going to be, recounting a lot of what she said inside of the courtroom to the judge, that he was abused by his sister and their landlord when he was a child. She said that it may not excuse what he's done, but it helps us understand why he may have felt that these actions were okay in society. She also made a plea that he didn't understand and that a lot of these were consensual situations that should not have come into a court of law in the way that they did. But you also heard Bonjean saying that this is going to be something that they plan to appeal, and we expect that to be happening, especially now that the motion for a new trial before this court here has already been denied.
And Julia also couldn't help but notice how she described R. Kelly and said he's doing okay. He was really prepared for this today because we knew what the judge could sentence and then found out what the judge did sentence, and also made the statement that no, he's not a predator. So put that together with all of your observations, the feel of the court, the people that are there, everything you've watched inside that courthouse.
It makes sense when it comes to his reaction to the words of the judge today. I actually heard a reaction from some of his supporters when we learned that the judge said that the guidelines in this case actually say that this is a life in prison sentence that would be appropriate for all of the counts that he was found guilty of, which were many, 9 counts to be exact. So putting that into perspective with the shock of life in prison versus 30 years as what he is facing, perhaps he may even feel that this is not as bad as it could be. We don't know. 30 years is still a long time for Kelly. But it really does jive with what we have seen from him in court. He's been very calm, did not have any kind of outburst the duration of this trial, just some emotion that you saw from him when some of the accusers were on the stand. But emotions are definitely running high here outside of the courtroom. You can feel it. There are people who are upset with this verdict, upset with each other, and that's something we saw at times during the trial, but it seems to be particularly heightened right now.
Okay, I'm back on that one. I'm back around the front on that one. Now, besides the white lady saying over and over again, did anybody catch that? Hey, this is the price you pay when you fuck with the wrong people. Say you don't make your shit plainly stated. Did anybody catch it? Right, shouted. Yeah, there was a sister standing behind her head. But yet she said he ain't got no sister there. Huh? Mm-hmm. Who the hell want to beat up or some kind of pillow, whatever, and run around with some shit like that? Some kind of plot or plan or scheme like that. I catch it all. Mm-hmm. Yep, I surely did. Like find somebody they haven't learned yet. Find somebody else to fuck with or make your shit straight and make sure it just don't involve me. If I ain't fucking with you, don't fuck with me. Pretty plain and simple. These people sit up here and act like, oh, I can expose this, I can do this, whatever. What? Somebody will break down all them lies out here. What is you talking about? Sit on it. Right. Now who got the credibility question? Who got the problem? I can play around. Oh, backhanded ass shit. So when you got the authority, you can find out a whole bunch of shit. You can find out who all connected to who, and where all them. You see how they put up a D-book with them cash apps and all that shit. Who's all connected to who? Who's been sending shit to who? Who talks to who? Who do this? No matter what, motherfucking. It's not your device. It's your location. Yeah. When you got that shit in there, they got so many motherfucking names in that computer for me, honey. Anytime a ping, boom, boom, oh, looking up, boom, 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 boom. Yes. Probably shouldn't tell you that because I want to catch everybody. So I can have an epic life. That'll be epic. Exposed. Fuck out of here. Trying to tell you. And if you have an issue with anybody employed at the Department of Justice in any capacity, whether it be a case manager or a fucking actual law enforcement agent, you can send some shit to their motherfucking ass. I'm not telling nobody to do that. That's not what I'm saying. But threats and shit, that's what people have done to that they, on the video I heard. I'm just telling you what your motherfucking rights are. And I was pretty high up. And if somebody would send some shit in on me, yeah, they would have came knocked on my motherfucking door. Come here. Come here. We got this. What is this about? Especially if you're in position which require judgment. Not somebody, even like a little data entry and whatever, yeah, they'll put that in your file or whatever. And they'll look at it. But when your ass go to try to get to the next level and shit like that, they're going to come past that shit. They're going to look at it. They're going to review it. When you're trying to get to the next motherfucking level. I told you about the lawsuit that I got, the class action lawsuit I received. And this is for a job that I hadn't even put in for. And I don't want you to look at the government in some kind of way when I tell y'all this again. But there was a class action lawsuit. 18 people were named. It was because there was a senior executive level job that they said that they did not look at qualified black people. I was one of those qualified black people. I didn't even put in for the job. I did not. Somebody, I'm to this day, let me tell you something. I'm not uppity. I'm not conceited. I'm not non-black. I still don't know to this day who started the class action lawsuit. All I did was got the check. All I did was got that check. All right, because it came at a time where, hell, listen here, I wasn't expecting no goddamn check. And they put some positions that they said that they didn't look at black people, qualified black people internally. This is for the government. I was one of those named individuals. And it was so crazy because I know everybody. And when I got the letter, I saw the lady's name on the end of the letter. And I said, well, damn, I didn't know that she worked with something with regards to, in this department. I didn't know. And I called her. I said, girl, this Angie, is this right? Is this legit? And actually, I ain't gonna tell nobody. I don't mean tell nobody business, but she used to date that guy I called. He was in. That's why I want to say this, but he was in the car with his wife, and she used to date him. Okay, well, I called him on live one day, and he was the first one I called. He said, "Let me go get my gun. Somebody fucking with you. Let me go get my gun." She used to mess with him. It was a whole big old situation that happened, child. She used to mess with him. And I told him, I said, I got a letter. And I said, her name is on the bottom of it. I said, wait a minute, it's got to be somebody else. And I called her. I said, girl, what is this? She told me, hey, and she told me, girl, I can't tell you nothing over the phone. All I can tell you is just whatever correspondence you get, just follow through with it. Because you know how we do as black people, whatever. We get all that class action lawsuit shit. We said, there ain't nobody gonna give us no money, whatever. And we don't go, we don't pay attention to it. I was like, okay. She said, just follow what they do. I was like, okay. But they tell you to do. I said, okay. And I got it. And whatever they sent, told me to sign or read over, whatever, I did. And I got a check. They took $6,000 and something worth of taxes out of the check. So it was big. And that's when I told you, I said, I got it on that Friday. This was crazy. And my child had a tournament in Orlando. Honey, I got home, checked the mail, the check was in there. Yeah. My child kept calling me because the game started at 6 o'clock. I got off at 4:30. I said, baby, you're going to have to wait because I got to slide this on into the bank. I was going to make sure that check was in safe keepings. before I hit the road. So I was late to the game. I had to take care of that check. You know how we do. We black. We black, baby. We black. We fucking black. So yeah, I definitely did. Like, don't play with any of me. Put my name in that shit. Got nothing. No, your problem with somebody else. So yeah. But anyway, did you hear what she said? That's on court TV. Now she should know. If Mr. Kelly had sisters there, right? Okay, so here's somebody that's trying to describe what happened in the courtroom. So let me go on mute and play this one. I'm trying to bring you as much of the courtroom as I can get. I was putting the articles up there, but now I'm trying to get some reporting on it. So here's some more.
Just in, disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly has now been sentenced to 30 years. Last year, a federal jury found Kelly guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking charges. The trial and public outcry was fueled in part by the widely watched docuseries Surviving R. Kelly. The 55-year-old has been in jail since 2019, and he also still faces child pornography and obstruction of justice charges in Chicago. Joining me now on set, we have, we're outside of the New York Federal Courthouse. We do have our Court TV legal correspondent, Julia Janae. Apologies, Julia, I just wanted to make sure that you were with us here. Tell us the latest and what happened when the judge read this sentence.
No, Judge Ashley, no emotion from this defendant in learning that his sentence would be 30 years. And the breakdown of that is 360 months on that top count that included those racketeering charges, the ones that carried up to a life sentence for some of them. But then she also, on the counts 3 through 9, gave him 20 years, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9 in particular, those counts. And then counts 2, 6, and 8, she gave him 10 years. So 30, 20, and 10 for various counts in this multi-count indictment, but ultimately those all run concurrently. So 30 years is what he is looking at being behind bars in this case.
All right, I know you just said that you saw no emotion from R. Kelly, and it's my understanding, but I just want to confirm this, that he in fact did not make any statement during his sentencing hearing.
That is correct. He was given that opportunity. The judge advised him of his rights, and his attorney spoke for him and said that she wants to make it clear on the record. This is attorney Jennifer Bonjean. She's new on his case. And she said that because he has these pending cases, 2 in Illinois, 1 in Minnesota, that he is not going to be making any statements. The court did ask Kelly if that was, in fact, his wish. And we heard that voice. It's a familiar voice to so many of us who know him from his music and just the things that he has said in public, saying, Your Honor, that's my wish. So that's the extent of what we heard from Robert Kelly. We do have sound with his attorney from before this sentence came down. Let's take a listen to Bonjean this morning heading into court. Attorney Bonjean, what do you expect to come out of the sentencing today?
Well, hopefully we'll have a reasonable sentencing hearing where Mr. Kelly is treated fairly and not by way of mob justice.
And are you encouraged, being new to his case, and what's going to change about it now that you are part of it?
Well, we are really looking forward to the appeal. That's what I can say. We believe that we have excellent arguments on appeal and that the Court of Appeals will ultimately determine that this case was overcharged and that there was no enterprise.
Are you expecting any impact that this will have on his other cases that are pending? Are you representing him in those two?
I am, and they're fairly unrelated. He's feeling fine. We are ready for this. Obviously, sentencing is never a pleasant day when you've been convicted, but he's strong and we are going to get through this.
Tell us, why are you asking for less than 10 in comparison to what the prosecution's asking 25? What's the justification there?
Well, we believe that the offenses for which he's been convicted do not justify a sentence greater than 10 years. We believe there's significant mitigation, and we believe that's the appropriate sentence.
Will Mr. Kelly be speaking this morning?
I guess you'll wait and find out.
And we, of course, learned that he was not going to be speaking on the record. Part of that sentence is his supervised release. Once he is out, he would go on the federal sex offender registry. That's what the judge said at the end of that sentence handed down for this former singer.
All right. And Julia, tell us, how has the reaction there been? Because we know there were victim impact statements. You've given us some great details about what those were like. We also know some of R. Kelly's family. Any reaction that you've been able to gauge there at the courthouse?
Oh, Judge Ashley, these accusers and victims who spoke today during the victim impact, they were raw. They spoke directly to Robert Kelly in instances, making sure that he knew how they felt and really taking the time to share what they'd gone through and detailing not only that they knew that he had been a victim of abuse too, something that his defense argued, trying to get a lesser sentence in this case, but saying that that was no excuse, and that was echoed by the judge. But I do want to show you one woman, Faith. Actually, let me start with Jane Doe, number 9. She is someone who said that the abuse started with him grooming me, that he made me to believe he was the only one I could trust. He made me travel with him to be his sex slave. And not a day goes by that I don't think about what happened to me. Today, I'm 45 and a mother, diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and anxiety from being abused over and over. And then she spoke directly to Kelly, saying, Robert, you destroyed so many people's lives just because you were abused. It is not an excuse. I want to see you get help. You probably hear behind me, there's some commotion going on. And sometimes there have been clashes here when it comes to different members of Robert Kelly's camp, some who are supporters, some who claim to be members of his family. That could be what we are seeing behind us, but everyone, of course, in anticipation for what is to come. Judge Ashley, most of these victims say they want him to spend the rest of his life behind bars, but in particular, there was a father who spoke today of one of the victims, and that's Faith. I actually want to read first what she said. She said she wasn't going to speak. She was going to let her father speak for her. But once she heard these victims speak before her, she decided she did want to speak. And she said that, first of all, that she accepted her own mistakes in this. The times she said yes when she should have said no. But she also apologized to her parents and said that she forgot about the way that they raised her during this time, that she was chased, and that something that she wasn't ready to happen happened, and that she was abused. Now, over right now, we are actually seeing the attorney for Robert Kelly walking out, and she is about to give a statement. Ashley, that is what's happening behind me. But really heartbreaking testimony today from these victims.
Okay, I'm around the front. So that was just a little sample of what some of the girls. I think it's 2 more. Trying to give insight to the people that were there. That includes me. So let me see, make sure how many. Oh well, going on. That's that one. I don't know which one it is. Yeah, so it's Oh, it's actually 3 more. Okay, so yeah, so hey, this is a lot, right? This is a lot. So let me speak. I know I spoke a little bit about the remorse part, right? There's a lot of people hollering about he's not showing any remorse, he's not showing any remorse. And I've stated that he can't show the remorse that you're looking for, okay? Because he has an appeal pending. He can't say, Judge, I'm sorry for what I did. Jennifer Bonjean's head would explode. And she didn't risk him getting up there, being emotional, getting, saying some shit that he shouldn't have been saying. So I think that's probably why he didn't say nothing or much of nothing. The type of, there is some sort of remorse that he could have shown, but it could have been in the sense of him saying, I'm sorry that this happened, but this happened because, I was listening to others. I didn't know. I thought that this stuff was consensual or whatever. You could have said some stuff like that, but you can't in his position. You can't say, Judge, I'm sorry for the things that I've done. If he says it's something, just leave it like that. He said, Judge, I'm sorry for the things that happened. And I'm no angel. I'm sorry that I played a part in it. That's about as much as he can go. But he still would have to give an explanation to kind of explain why he's remorseful, and it won't be just because, I'm sorry I did it or whatever. No, you can't do that. So you're looking for that. You can't do that. And also, you got to understand, you don't know if he wants to say that or not, or if he's been advised not to say it. Right now, and I do like this, J-Bo has a lot of control over the situation. We all know that the client is the boss, but when you can impart what's best for him to him, then it's always good. It's always a good thing. So I just want you to keep in mind with that, So he may be, you don't know how he's feeling, but I can guarantee you he definitely can't express how he's feeling, because that could mess up what he got going for it. And I thought it was so funny when J-Bo say, well, y'all probably haven't read my emotions. It's like, I think, and it's just me, and I'm just saying, the people on this sector do an outstanding job with getting out the information. I'm saying that, listen, reading emotions and shit, and I'm a regular person now, I'm not practicing, but I'm a regular person now. Reading motions and paperwork and stuff, I believe that we make that thing famous. Sylvia hit the paper for doing the transcripts and enactments and stuff like that, reenactments and stuff. I'm saying that we in this little sector is made that thing a thing to do. Because it's not, I've never anticipated nobody outside, nobody, because I really didn't have anybody in the media that would read it, unless it's like someone like at your local news that was covering the case. We hadn't had no cases like that, just one where the local media was keeping up with it, and so they were reading the paperwork. But like a group of people and whatever, I never anticipated anybody reading, the work. No, I never anticipated anything like that. So I'm thinking, hey, we made that shit. We made that shit a thing. Read the paperwork. So yeah. So yeah, I'm famous. That's crazy. Right. He could try to see if he could make a talk to the prosecutors and see what they can give him. I mean, just think about it. I don't know what he's facing in Chicago, but if he can make a deal and do 30, why not? Unless some other two cases, whatever, unless they want more than that. Because even if he makes a deal, you just say if one gets overturned, he's still in there for the 30. So that can't be it. Maybe. I don't know what direction they were going, but let me play this up. Hey, did y'all see that last video? Did y'all see the last video with the lady and the man? Did I put it up there? The one right here that I just put up there. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Y'all didn't see it? Oh, no. Hold on. Hold on. Let me play this one. Oh, wait a minute. Let me play this one. Because this is Javante. Let me play Javante. Oh, man. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a lot of little clips.
For his many crimes against underage girls. And R. Kelly used the power of his celebrity and his music business to lure and to manipulate and to isolate and to date many young girls. He was a skilled sexual predator who preyed on his victims, and after grooming them, he inflicted significant emotional and sometimes physical harm on them, which in some cases will continue to hurt them for the rest of their lives. Much of the pain that they suffered because of him was evident as the victims read their victim impact statements today in court. They wanted the court to understand their pain and for the defendant to hear the harm that they've suffered as a result of the pain that he has inflicted on them. Although he had what he may have thought was a perfect scheme to sexually victimize his young victims, he underestimated their courage to fight back and assist law enforcement in making him accountable in a court of law. All of my clients, who were, by the way, the majority of the victims who testified in this case, were very courageous as they testified and were cross-examined and or spoke to law enforcement or testified before a grand jury to assist in the prosecution of R. Kelly. Together, they were able to fight his power by becoming empowered young women themselves, who refused to be intimidated by him and his enablers. I am proud of all of them. And there are many sacrifices made in order to bring R. Kelly finally to the bar of justice. They have succeeded in making R. Kelly suffer the consequences of his criminal acts. In addition, they are relieved that he has been sent to prison for approximately 30 years because while he is in custody, he will not be able to continue to sexually victimize any other underage girls. And protecting other girls has been a major goal of theirs. And now I would like to introduce some of the brave clients of mine who have spoken to law enforcement and have provided very important information in this case. I'm going to let them give their names themselves if they wish to provide them.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lizette Martinez. And I just want to thank Gloria. I want to thank the prosecutors. I want to thank the judge. Today was a very special but hard day for us. I personally, this happened to me a long time ago. I was 17. I'm 45 today. I never thought that I would be here to see him be held accountable for the atrocious things that he did to children. I don't know what else to say except that I'm grateful. And I'm grateful that Robert Sylvester Kelly is away and will stay away and will not be able to harm anyone else. Thank you.
What did he do to your life?
He ruined it.
Tell us how.
I was an up-and-coming singer. I was a girl full of life, very innocent but very driven, and preyed upon basically at the mall in Aventura, Florida, and promised just a mentorship, and quickly turned into, I would just say, a sex slave.
Council, the sentence is 30 years enough. Do you think the sentence was enough?
I personally don't think it's enough, but I'm pleased with it.
What do you think about him not looking at you or any of the other victims?
Thank you for your bravery. Thank you.
We love you, girls.
Good afternoon. I am Jovante.
Jovante?
My name is Jovante. I started this journey 30 years ago. I was 14 years old when I encountered Robert Sylvester Kelly. There wasn't a day in my life up until this moment that I actually believed that the judicial system will come through for Black and brown girls. I stand here very proud of my judicial system, very proud of my fellow survivors, and very pleased with the outcome. 30 years did he do this, and 30 years is what he got. I thank the prosecution. I thank my attorney, Gloria Aldridge, and I thank all of you all that have stood in support of us for so long.
Why did it take the police so long? Why did it take the police so long? Were you frustrated? It took so long for you to get justice?
I can't speak to why it takes anyone the amount of time that it takes, but they've done their homework, they've presented their case, and now we have justice in our judicial system.
Were they not listening to Black women?
They were not paying attention to the details that were being articulated to them. I won't say that they were not paying attention. I will say that they were not listening for details.
Jovante, how did this affect your life, your dealings with him?
Being in a situation as such affords you the ability to be re-victimized over and over again in different areas of your life. When you are taught to be quiet and to keep silent about things that should be spoken about openly, you find yourself recluse, and that often affords people the ability to manipulate you.
Who forced you to be quiet?
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't hear you over.
I'm sorry. Who forced you to be? You said when you're forced to be quiet. Who forced you to be quiet?
Society. Society. When people are telling you that you're not telling the truth and there's no support for you.
Jovante, did you cry when you heard the 30 years, when you heard the sentence? Did you cry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you feel now? How do you feel now?
Overwhelmed.
Johnny, how do you spell your name?
OrCam Read, for people with reading difficulties. For some people, reading can be a challenge. With OrCam Read, just point and click.
The works of Isaac Newton.
Read for school. Read a recipe.
Peel and finely chop the onion.
Read a magazine.
OrCam Read, for people with reading difficulties. OrCam Read is the world's smartest digital reader. Powered by OrCam's highly advanced computer vision, the device reads without any connection to the web and scans full pages of text with a click of a button.
Find solar system.
The solar system also contains smaller objects, the asteroid belt, which lies between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter.
OrCam Read. Buy now at orcam.com.
Welcome back. As we've been covering breaking news, R. Kelly has received his sentence, 30 years. That is what the judge sentenced him to. Breon Peace is one of the prosecutors who's now delivering a press conference. Let's go right to that.
Moments ago, R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison. This is a significant outcome for all victims of R. Kelly and especially for the survivors who so bravely testified about the horrific and sadistic abuse they endured. R. Kelly is a predator, and as a result of our prosecution, he'll serve a long jail sentence for his crimes. With the aid of his fame, his money, and most importantly, his inner circle, R. Kelly preyed upon children and young women for his own sexual gratification for decades. He used coercive control, exemplified by a pattern of isolation, rules, dependence, threats, intimidation tactics, physical abuse, and at least once the presence of a gun, to force victims, including minors, to engage in sexual activity with him and others, and to become unwilling participants in the pornographic films he wrote, produced, and directed. He continued committing his crimes for almost 30 years and avoided punishment until today. Today, the sentence shows that the witnesses reclaim control over their lives and over their futures. These are voices of mostly Black and brown women and children that were heard and believed, and for whom justice was finally achieved. This is a victory for them, for justice, and for future survivors of sexual assault. Victims of sexual violence must be heard, perpetrators must be held accountable, and our women and children must be protected. I hope this sentencing serves as its own testimony that it doesn't matter how powerful, rich, or famous your abuser may be, or how small they may make you feel, justice only hears the truth. I want to say that this case would not have been possible without the outstanding work, dedication, and skill of the prosecution team, Assistant United States Attorneys Elizabeth Geddes, Nadia Shahada, and Maria Cruz Melendez, Senior Investigator Keith Kolovich, and former paralegal specialist Kira Winthen and Alyssa Fagel. Their dedication to the truth and justice was truly extraordinary. I want to commend and thank the special agents who handled this case for their outstanding work, Ryan Chabot and Sylvette Reynoso of the Department of Homeland Security Investigations, under the supervision of Supervisory Special Agents Elvin Hernandez and Patrick Gill. They and detectives from the New York City Police Department painstakingly went through the documents, the records, and interviews to collect and verify the facts that became the foundation for this strong case. And finally, and I want to emphasize this, I want to say a special thank you to the brave survivors, those who came forward and all who endured. It is thanks to you that we were able to deliver justice today.
Just in, disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly has now been sentenced to 30 years. Last year, a federal jury found Kelly guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking charges. The trial and public outcry was fueled in part by the widely watched docuseries Surviving R. Kelly. The 55-year-old has been in jail since 2019, and he also still faces child pornography and obstruction of justice charges in Chicago. Joining me now on set, we have, we're outside of the New York Federal Courthouse. We do have our Court TV legal correspondent, Julia Janae. Apologies, Julia, I just wanted to make sure that you were with us here. Tell us the latest and what happened when the judge read this sentence.
No, Judge Ashley, no emotion from this defendant in learning that his sentence would be 30 years. And the breakdown of that is 360 months on that top count that included those racketeering charges, the ones that carried up to a life sentence for some of them. But then she also, on the counts 3 through 9, gave him 20 years, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9 in particular, those counts. And then counts 2, 6, and 8, she gave him 10 years. So 30, 20, and 10 for various counts in this multi-count indictment, but ultimately those all run concurrently. So 30 years is what he is looking at being behind bars in this case.
All right, I know you just said that you saw no emotion from R. Kelly, and it's my understanding, but I just want to confirm this, that he in fact did not make any statement during his sentencing hearing.
That is correct. He was given that opportunity. The judge advised him of his rights, and his attorney spoke for him and said that she wants to make it clear on the record. This is attorney Jennifer Bongine. She's new on his case. And she said that because he has these pending cases, 2 in Illinois, 1 in Minnesota, that he is not going to be making any statements. The court did ask Kelly if that was, in fact, his wish. And we heard that voice. It's a familiar voice to so many of us who know him from his music and just the things that he has said in public, saying, Your Honor, that's my wish. So that's the extent of what we heard from Robert Kelly. We do have sound with his attorney from before this sentence came down. Let's take a listen to Bongine this morning heading into court.
Attorney Bongine, what do you expect to come out of the sentencing today?
Hopefully we'll have a reasonable sentencing hearing where Mr. Kelly is treated fairly and not by way of mob justice.
And are you encouraged, being new to his case, and what's going to change about it now that you are a part of it?
Well, we are really looking forward to the appeal. That's what I can say. We believe that we have excellent arguments on appeal and that the Court of Appeals will ultimately determine that this case was overcharged and that there was no enterprise.
Are you expecting any impact that this will have on his other cases that are pending? Are you representing him in those two?
I am, and they're fairly unrelated. He's feeling fine. We are ready for this. It's obviously sentencing is never a pleasant day when you've been convicted, but he's strong and we are going to get through this.
Tell us, why are you asking for less than 10 in comparison to what prosecution's asking 25? What's the justification there?
Well, we believe that the offenses for which he's been convicted do not justify a sentence greater than 10 years. We believe there's significant mitigation, and we believe that's the appropriate sentence.
Will Mr. Kelly be speaking this morning?
I guess you'll wait and find out.
And we, of course, learned that he was not going to be speaking on the record. Part of that sentence is his supervised release. Once he is out, he would go on the federal sex offender registry. That's what the judge said at the end of that sentence handed down for this former singer.
All right. And Julia, tell us, how has the reaction there been? Because we know there were victim impact statements. You've given us some great details about what those were like. We also know some of R. Kelly's family. Any reaction that you've been able to gauge there at the courthouse?
Oh, Judge Ashley, these accusers and victims who spoke today during the victim impact, they were raw. They spoke directly to Robert Kelly in instances, making sure that he knew how they felt and really taking the time to share what they'd gone through and detailing not only that they knew that he had been a victim of abuse too, something that his defense argued, trying to get a lesser sentence in this case, but saying that that was no excuse. And that was echoed by the judge. But I do want to show you one woman, Faith. Actually, let me start with Jane Doe, number 9. She is someone who said that the abuse started with him grooming me, that he made me to believe he was the only one I could trust. He made me travel with him to be his sex slave. And not a day goes by that I don't think about what happened to me. Today, I'm 45 and a mother, diagnosed with PTSD, depression, and anxiety from being abused over and over. And then she spoke directly to Kelly, saying, Robert, you destroyed so many people's lives just because you were abused. It is not an excuse. I want to see you get help. You probably hear behind me, there's some commotion going on. And sometimes there have been clashes here when it comes to different members of Robert Kelly's camp, some who were supportive supporters, some who claim to be members of his family. That could be what we are seeing behind us, but everyone, of course, in anticipation for what is to come. Judge Ashley, most of these victims say they want him to spend the rest of his life behind bars, but in particular, there was a father who spoke today of one of the victims, and that's Faith. I actually want to read first what she said. She said she wasn't going to speak. She was going to let her father speak for her, but once she heard these victims speak before her, she decided she did want to speak. And she said that, first of all, that she accepted her own mistakes in this. The times she said yes when she should have said no. But she also apologized to her parents and said that she forgot about the way that they raised her during this time, that she was chased, and that something that she wasn't ready to happen, and that she was abused. Now, over right now, we are actually seeing the attorney for Robert Kelly walking out, and she is about to give a statement. Ashley, that is what's happening behind me. But really heartbreaking testimony today from these victims.
Wow, so got a kind of good sense of what happened with that sentence, right? Why the judge, let me go ahead and drop the link because I'm not trying to keep y'all up much longer. But why the judge sentenced like she did. Okay. We gotta, by looking at how she denied the acquittal and the motion for new trial, we see that, she was like, it already looks like she was going to lock him up for a long time. But she did have some let me see. So 30 years. I guess 30 years was for that first charge. Was that the max? Like I said, she did have some sympathy with, because when it comes to aggregate sentencing, if it's charges within the same case, then the judge is supposed to sentence you concurrently, but you have the option to sentence you consecutively with all the counts. If it's out of two jurisdictions, then it's supposed to be consecutively, unless the judge say concurrently. Do you think that the judge, anybody can come in if they want to? Do you think that the judge, Lennon Weber, they call him the lifer? Do you think he will, just run the 30 years with him, with Jaba, with Ann Donnelly? Do you think she'll do that? Do you think he'll do that? Unless he want to make sure that.
Or can read for people with reading difficulties. For some people.
What is that thing doing? Sorry about that. Do you think he'll do that? I mean, what you think? You think so? You think? Because his nickname, they say, is the lifer. So I don't know. It really depends. What is the evidence? The other evidence with regards to, because we know about the tapes and we know about the conspiracy, right? So we know they're going to have evidence with regards to that. Would they introduce evidence of any kind of violence or anything like that? You can do that because if the charge is, was it sexual abuse or whatever, you can introduce that. Remember I told you domestic violence can be introduced in sexual abuse, but sexual abuse can't be introduced in domestic violence. Mm. They seem to have taken his the abuse and his childhood and all of that into consideration. Nah, 10, 10 ain't no nothing, no way in 10. 10, uh-uh. Especially talking about 10 and concurrently. Hey, Parker, I wouldn't even see 10 and consecutively. I think they want to make sure he stay, stay there forever. I just don't want nobody to get all make this remorse thing a big thing, because it's not. This he has other shit going on other than this one case. Hold on. All right. Let me see what this other one is real quick. Let me see what this one is. I want to see what this other one talks about.
Breaking news, disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly has been sentenced now to 30 years. Last year, a federal jury found Kelly guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking charges. The trial and public outcry was fueled in part by the widely watched docuseries Surviving R. Tell me your initial reaction to the fact that he's been given 30 years.
All right, let me let y'all see some of this. This should be interesting. Let me see.
Chicago, still with us, Attorney Philip Dubé on set in studio. Philip, 30 years. You and I were talking off air about it. First, tell me your initial reaction to the fact that he's been given 30 years, and we know he's 55 years old at this time.
It's a gift. It is. Because look, let's be honest. He was looking at what? Probably multiple life sentences, and he'll probably do 85% of it, assuming he lives that long. Yes, he'll be in his 80s when he gets out, but at least he'll, have a discharge date from the prison. So unfortunately, he's on his way to Alcatraz or Marion Prison, wherever that might be, but it beats life in prison. And I think it gives some sense of justice to the victims as well.
Well, I will say this, though, too, is a lot of people were predicting, if you watch viewers and other analysts predicting life because of a perceived lack of remorse by R. Kelly and saying he's going to get life. He hasn't gotten life. Knowing that he didn't get life, knowing that he got 30 years, would you expect an appeal from his legal team?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. That goes without saying. You always appeal. Otherwise, if let's say he doesn't, and in 5 years, R. Kelly sends his lawyers a letter from prison saying, hey, what's going on with my appeal? Then what? Then you have a lawyer that's in trouble, and you have a client who not necessarily has forfeited his appeal. There are still ways to get into court belatedly, but now your appeal is delayed, just like justice was delayed in the underlying charges.
And that judge had a lot to consider. Federal court, we are going to have a report later from Julia Janae, who's live in New York. She's been in the courthouse. And one of the things I have to say is we know there have been multiple witnesses who testified today and victim impact statements and describing what they'd been through, what their daughters had been through, and really also saying, again, the lack of remorse by R. Kelly. So I think there was a pretty significant chance that the judge could have given him life. I do feel like 30 from his lawyer's perspective is probably a good day in court, so to speak, given the conviction has already happened.
Well, first of all, I kind of sympathize with his lawyers. I have been on the receiving end of having to sit in open court during victim impact. It's miserable, And obviously, you don't get to cross-examine them. You don't get to say anything, disparage them. But let's be honest here. Come on. 30 years is still hard time. God, we make it sound like you could do 30 years standing on your head. It's a walk in the park. He's going to be an old man if he survives that amount of time. And when he gets out, he'll be finished. Hopefully, he'll still have some family who can take care of him, and he'll still have some wealth left from all his investments.
And I really appreciate that you can give us a real idea of what it feels like when you're representing a client and listening to those victim impact statements, waiting for the judge to make a decision. All right, based on your experience, let me ask you this. How different is the federal incarceration system from a state incarceration system for someone like this who is now going to serve or sentenced to 30 years?
Well, the good news is that it's my understanding he will only do 85%, okay? And because he has 4 or 5 years credit, he's not really looking at 30 actual years. He could conceivably be out, in what? Let's say, 24 years, maybe 23 years. Now, in terms of the conditions, it's probably the best of all worlds. Listen, it's not Club Med, it's not the Ritz-Carlton, it's certainly not the Holiday Inn, but they certainly have much more budget than many of the state penitentiaries do, and they can make life much more productive for them. They can keep busy, get educational credentials. I believe they even get movies and television, and by the way, my clients have told me the food's even better.
Isn't this interesting? Because some people hear federal and think the feds don't play. That's going to be worse. So again, great insight from someone with the knowledge that you have. I want to listen now together because Gloria Allred did speak earlier before the sentencing. Let's go and listen to some of what she had to say.
No one can undo the harm that has been done to these victims. But at least it's time for Mr. Kelly to be accountable. This is what he's done. His new defense attorney was also the defense attorney in the trial that I and my firm just completed last week against Bill Cosby, which we won, despite his vigorous attempts by his defense team to present a defense for Mr. Cosby. We were able to bring him to justice in our civil lawsuit against him. We won. And now I will see that same defense attorney this morning defending R. Kelly, who was clearly a sexual predator.
All right, Philip, let's talk about some of what she just said and break it down. She just said the new defense attorney for R. Kelly is Bill Cosby's defense attorney. And you notice that Gloria Allred did throw in there, and we won, but we all know that he then got out of jail after appeal. So let's compare this to the Bill Cosby case, because again, he got out of jail. There was an appeal. What are the comparisons that stand out to you about these two cases?
Oh, first of all, there's no comparison. Remember, Bill Cosby, I don't want to say he got railroaded. You know, I mean, he obviously committed those crimes, but he also had immunity from prosecution. And for whatever reason, the prosecutors in Pennsylvania and even the judge completely disregarded it as if it were just some figment of everybody's imagination. The man was immunized and gave incredibly incriminating testimony during depositions. And it took going all the way up on appeal to the state Supreme Court for someone to finally say, what's going on here? What, you didn't look at the immunity agreement? So no, R. Kelly and probably thought, well, if Bill Cosby can beat it, I'm going to get his lawyer too. I have the money, I'll pay him. But it's completely separate legal grounds on appeal.
And it's interesting, though, the same type of allegations, obviously, by many, many victims against both individuals. But those immunity agreements, you do not enter those lightly. You don't enter those, I would suggest, as a former judge, unless you intend to honor them. I think that's the lesson we can take from that.
All right, folks, that's the last one I'm going to show you. So, try to bring you some of what happened in the courtroom. Hopefully I'll find some defense attorneys talking about what's next and what they feel about the outcome. Hopefully I'll find that at some point so I can bring it to you guys. But hey. I'm moving off what I was talking about earlier at the start of this video. It could be, could have been a simple misunderstanding or a misunderstanding from me or whatever. But I don't want to move on. I want to talk about. I have about 12 more minutes. 12 more damn minutes. The lawyer, did a live. He did a live about what happened. Well, I don't know if I can play his stuff. Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me go look. Some people around here just keep shit going. Always got to say stuff. Always got to bother people. And I get it because they just can't do much else. And I understand that they can't offer shit else in life or on YouTube. Just always somewhat messy and calling people names and then when you start on their ass, they somewhat crying and ooh. It's like fuck that shit. Fuck all of that shit. Fuck all of that shit, right? Leave people alone, stay the fuck out of people's business. There is a way that you can report what the hell goes on out here by simply just doing that. But some people have made it to where like people that used to like them don't like them no more. And all type of stuff because they see who they are. Just by being just messy and ridiculous with stupid shit. It's like, come on. Let me see if I can find the lawyer Oh, he did do a video. Wait a minute. Hold on for a minute, y'all. Hold on. Y'all, I'm scared to play his stuff. So I'm gonna let y'all out of here. I am scared to play his stuff. But thank you, Karen, for letting me know, because I want to watch. I want to see get his take on it. And I see he has his dad with them. So I'm gonna go and let y'all up out of here. I wasn't trying to start no mess. I just wanted clarification, And we got to make sure that you remember Dubowski's hearing is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Please don't be on the phone acting like a damn fool. With that being said, I sure appreciate each and every last one of y'all. All the ways that you support, namely one by participation, right? Y'all keep the chat lit. People love the damn comments in the chat. And the financials and hitting the links and I get so many messages and questions and people be sending me stuff, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is great. So I like it. I'm not interested in, back and forth bull crap. I know we have people out here that's just mentally disabled, mentally unstable. I don't know what to tell you. They are going to forever have a problem. You could be, depending on who it is, I can go out there and say the word. They're going to say the word. They're going to have a problem with that. So I don't know. If you're crazy, you're crazy. Shit. So, with that being said, thanks again to the host, the hostess, and the guests, and everybody else. Make sure you do something good for someone else. Do something good for yourself. And what? I forgot the other thing because I'm sleeping. So until the next live. Until the next live. Yes. I'll see ya.